So, hello everyone, it's time for Deep Insanity, Lost Child. And I'll say one thing before. Okay. I really enjoyed Pat OP, Destiny Episode 2. It was really good, you know, and I really mean that because, I think it might be bad, but it's the rest one, but I felt that it really delivered on. Last week I was like, whoa, Sucker Guy's beautiful, but it's like no story. Episode 2 was like, it's all story. So I was like, yeah, this is what I want. So that was really good. It was really good. That was like 10 out of 10 episodes. Yeah, it was really good. To get for free. Anyway, one more thing. Look at my typophobia mouse that he's got. He's got the mouse today. I think it's about the lightest mouse you can buy, basically. It weighs only 56 grams. I'm a very weak old man. No, but when I play in a very like fingertip style. So I hold my hand, can I claw fingertip guide? And I only move it slightly, the fingertip, right? So I press it with the thumb. So, I don't know, it's incredibly tiny and light, this mouse. And of course, way too expensive, but whatever. Maybe I'll do a review of mouses. This is my old mouse, I still the series mouse before that, but anyway, now, to anime. But honestly though, this mouse is hard to get used to. Like, it's very, very tiny and it's very, very weirdly shaped, so it's like some... But whatever. This anime though, City Girl has me here, right? She looks a lot similar to generally anything from Vanillaware. So of course, Sentinel. But I'm thinking primarily. Because here, Deep Insanity is a video game, right? Square Enix is involved in so on. So that's kind of what I brought up the mouse. It's a brand mouse, but it's like a game. It's a game anime, right? And it feels very, very gamey when you look at the stuff and so on. And for example, the graphic stuff looks very similar to vanilla stuff, right? So here's, Third Sentinel. I think the art looks very similar to this girl. She could definitely be like one of the 13 Sentinels if you look at her art, right? So might it be the same artist who did Third Sentinel, but honestly, yeah, no, I know who did Vanilla, but who did this game? Sorry, like Freudian slip. I mean, who is the artist of this game? Seriously, who? Like, I'm honestly, I'm like, who's the artist behind this thing? Because it's very similar to Fukami. Okay. Oh yeah. But whatever. It's an interesting anime. Who knows? It's my issue though with the anime. I haven't seen the anime yet, but I'm pointing things out before I watch the episode, right? In my own half-ass way, which is that it's a game anime. So I'm also afraid of these animes, right? Because it's like you watch the anime and half the story is in the video game or whatever, right? This is kind of like that. It's again, Miss Media project, right? There's a lot of other stuff being done with it. This anime is mostly done right to promote the game because they make more money with the game than the anime. Most very likely so. Yes, it's a mobile game, right? It's a PC game. So the mobile game probably is a lot more money, right? Because it's like a gacha game. So I'm just being honest, it's a gacha game, isn't it? It's a gacha game. So yeah. There's probably a lot of money in that thing. And it's a role-playing gacha game on the... But anyway. Watch the anime. Maybe it's good. The other premise is that, it's like you can't sleep and so on, right? It's a horror game. But I have my worries, though. As I said, I have my worries because like I just thought about, right? Okay, this is clearly to push the gacha game, right? Again, because the gacha game makes so much more money, so that's what you want to do, right? Like the anime, you can make money by animes too, right? Of course, but a lot of animes lose money, right? Not just because they're unsellable, whatever, but there are many animes that are done. I mean, I guess they want to make money as a calendar anime, but like there are many animes done purposely, right, to either produce to sell more manga or whatever, or especially these game animes. They're there, of course, to promote the game. People buy the game and they make more and they make money back, right? Because they, of course, the gacha game and they make more money on the game than the anime. So if the actual animes are negative for them, doesn't matter because they make more money in total. And I wouldn't call me an expert, but I am probably more one of the worst experts now. But I am definitely very involved in I buy some shares, like in like Kadokawa and Square and so Nintendo and so on, and also of course Billy I like so on. So I'm quite well read about, also because I work for the industry itself, so trust me on this. Authority policy, but trust me on this. This is how it works, right? You make an anime, you make a gacha game, and the anime can go miles a lot. As long as it is a promotion for the gacha game, you make a lot of money back on that, because you have those whales and the kraken and so on in the gacha games, and then you make so much money on those people than you do in the anime, right? The same with, for example, Azure, or this other, cute girl, Kanta collection and so on, cute girl fighting, right? But anyway, long intro. That's what that's anime. So 3, 2, 1, and go. I could talk for hours about the gacha industry. I worked for about 3 years in mobile gaming, just straight up, just in a row. I mean, like without breaks. And then I have worked with different, like Blizzard, listings on with mobile games too, right? So I have a lot of years on. I probably have about 5 years of, I guess, in total mobile game development. For example, I worked on, it was in Blizzard, like, some mobile games there. For example, Call of Duty and Skylanders and Little Hearthstone and so on, right, for example. I have a lot of mobile game experience. But here we go. We found the sleeper. Randolph possibility, that's what they call their disease or infectation or whatever is apocalypse world. See it here on the screen here, they're like Randolph possibilities. Okay, here we go. Okay, so transform and turn into big guys. Randolph syndrome! Ooh, it's evolving! They're all dead, right? It's evolving. Yeah, they're all dead. It's evolving, baby. Oh, they're all dead. Yeah. Band of sleep. Unending sleep. Katana, I think? In the snow? No, I guess it's like his... No, it's his... katana. But he's a katana right now. His his ski. But is that a katana he uses to go in the snow? Come on, it would be pretty cool if it's a katana to kind of maneuver in the snow. But no, he has typical winter wear. But in my head, it's like it isn't a katana. I watch too much anime. I'm like, I expect a guy to look at two katanas using them as. What is wrong with me? Oh god, I watch too much anime. I expect him to, travel around but using his two swords to, move in the snow or something. Oh god, it sounds really stupid to think about it. But I mean, no, but it wouldn't be useless. I mean, you could still use the katanas for that. They would obviously get ruined quickly, but you could rust it so, but it would work. Someone has definitely used katana in history to move in the snow, right? Someone has used the katana for that. Come on, someone has done that. Someone probably fall into the ice with the katana to get up. Someone has done that, okay? Oh, whatever. Someone's done it though. Someone has to have fall into like a frozen river and have the katana try to get up with the ice with that. Someone has done it. In my defense, 100% sure of that, but. Oh man, some kind of heroic. Yeah, look at that. Atom man, something. A-man. She did Commander. Yeah, I guess alright. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, yeah, whatever. Nice, like stats and everything, very gamey. Yeah, they have like a stat, this is his health points and so on, yeah. It's a video game after all. Gonna have everyone in like a stats, of course. He's the young protagonist guy, He's that guy that, he's probably an all-round character. He's the vanilla character. He's the one this is the guy no one wants to play, honestly. This is like the, the Ryu or whatever. He's the guy who's good at everything. He's like Ryu is all-round fine, but he's somewhat all-round. He's an explosive character, but he's, kind of decent. Decent health points, decent damage, decent combos. He's kind of fast, not really fast. He's not like Chun-Li. He's not really fast, right? He's so tanky like Zangief. He's a Mario, of the Mario Kart game. Yeah, he's a Mario, right? Or Mario Luigi, whatever. This is a clearly evil old guy and strategist guy. But I see the very game. I like how they have like a literal game scene. It's like this guy has stats points and this. So this is what I mean. It's need to promote a video game because it's like look at this guy's stats points. It gets even worse. Now he's a video game. Look at his stat. He's like 11 power, like 2 speed. Yeah. Exactly. This guy has great speed time and so on. I guess the guys you're playing as. This is the commander people you're playing as, right? This is the person you are, who you as a user are. And then, his Vera, of course. The best commander. Yeah, and she's clearly the hot commander, as I call her commander, right? And then these other guys are the one you're playing in the game, right? But she's the kind of the commander summoning in the guy you're playing with. Like, can you see how video game this anime is? This is super video gamey. Clearly, she's the hot commander everyone wants to play as, right? The hot Shiro head babe. And the other commanders are kind of boring. Here's the smart commander. Here's the evil commander, But she's the waifu commander, so she's the number one. This kind of playing a type Fire Emblem. You wanna play Edelgard, right? Who's the pretty play Edelgard's house? Because she's the hot waifu, right? The other guys, the boring men. You wanna play the waifu commander. Yeah. And he's of course other, more. This is like the characters you control, right? Yeah. Of course the Bishonen boy, yeah, the cute boy. Yeah. And the other waifu. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Very, very gamey. Yeah. Of course, she gets into her team, right? He's the naive, cute boy. Yeah, he's the the overly friendly, cute Bishonen boy. I mean, obviously this guy is the main character. He's a boring, milk toast guy in the middle, right? Yeah. Shigure Daniel Kai, yeah. Daniel Kai. My grandfather's name was Kaido, so, it's a cool name. My Ji-san, yeah. Hits him with some kind of nerf gun, of course. Welcome to the team! Yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm here, I'm a loner. I mean, he's obviously the childish, annoying guy, right? So, yeah, this guy is of course the super annoying, the youngster. Hey man, I'm Jackson, call me Larry. Yeah, he's obviously a super annoying teammate. This is like, my God, I'm like 12. He's that guy. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, this guy, super annoying. And of course the waifu commander. Oh yeah. Now obviously Vera is the coolest character yet, the waifu commander. And I guess this guy is like the vice. What is he? Lieutenant? He's some kind of vice captain, right? He's some kind of, he's the middle management, right? He's the... Yeah, I guess he's the middle management kind of guy, right? So this guy is probably... Maybe he's a doctor, maybe then. He's the team support guy. I suppose he... No, but he's a kind of... See, I call it, he's a kind of, middle management, Yeah, like he's an officer. Yeah, he's a commanded office. He's a kind of middle manager. Must still be the doctor of the team, right? But he's like, some... Like I said, he's the middle management, right? Yeah. He's Tony Gawa, yeah. Yeah, who wants to be a hero, man? Everyone wants to be a hero. Come on. I want to be a hero! But wouldn't the other character also kind of want to be heroes? If they want to be this, agents, commander people? I don't know. I guess they haven't really motivated why they want to be fighters. But... This is also probably a playable character, right? He's gonna say his name there, but yeah, my name is Luca. He's probably a playable character. Yeah, you can walk past him there. Okay, he's gonna tell me the truth about the world. No, he's not gonna tell me the truth. He's like, that's what they tell you at the government. Okay, but let's skip that. Like, what? You just tell us the truth, man. That'd be like, yeah, but. And then you just didn't tell us anyway. Oh, thanks for the nothing information. That was pretty useless. He basically is like, yeah, nothing you ever heard is the truth. But actually, nothing to follow to the anyway. Well, yeah. That was kind of pointless of him just hinting that everything is a lie and then not telling anything why it's a lie. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, behind the walls there are truths. I don't know them. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, remember the rules. Okay, there's no hope. That's not really a rule though. It's like, you're gonna die. Yeah, okay. Well, okay, I guess there's like, yeah, let people die so you don't die. Not really much of a rule though. Basically, just let people die before yourself. Yeah. Well, I guess the only real rule was the fourth rule there. Yeah, do follow orders always. That's the only rule. He had like one rule really. That was like follow orders. The rest was like just don't die. The other thing wasn't really rules. They were just like don't be an idiot. Kind of, yeah, try not to die down there. And also, the first rules technically were obviously against the fourth rule because the fourth rule was like always follow order, but the other rule was like do everything you can not to die, right? So if the fourth rule is like all for order and since like go and kill yourself, then you have to actually not follow that rule. So the obviously objectively speaking, the fourth rule is broken by the other three rules, right? That are basically not rules, but yeah, not very helpful guy. No, she's the kawaii girl, I guess. Yeah, the happy girl. This is anime, so she's the like the little 16-year-old cute girl that shouldn't be in a war. Yeah, she's the one like yeah, let's go and fight, woo! Yeah, okay, she'll join them. Okay, fine. She's the supporting side. But yeah, she's that girl. It's like, yay, guy! Oh my god, more! I played through most of it. What's it called again? Scarlet Nexus, right? This summer. Released it, yeah. Same thing there. You have a few girls like around. It's like, well, in that game, they don't age because they have some drugs. They're like 100 years old. But basically, it's like a permanent, 16-year-old girl up. It's like 160 or whatever. But of course, but still, she's like a 16-year-old girl. It's like, hey guys, let's go and kill some demons. Yeah. Woohoo! I love this shit. Yeah, kind of like that. Super happy and genki, like, hey, murder. Kind of like that. You're like, this doesn't fit at all. But I guess But in that game, though, as I mentioned, they're all actually over 100 years old. Yeah, like they all have this like anti-aging thing. So she's actually like a 150, 60-year-old murderer, I guess. Some kind of psychopathic serial killer kind of guy. I suppose all of that, yeah, in a way. So I guess it makes sense that they look like teenagers and still are super into murdering people. I suppose so. But every anime game has them, right? The little teenage psychopaths, yeah. I suppose so. Well, I guess arguably they're more sociopaths, but whatever. It's semantics. Not really semantic stuff, I guess. Formal semantics. But yeah, this guy walking backward, but he's a cool, crazy guy. What's behind him, though? It's like a tower or something. Interesting, yeah. Like the planet has a hole here in Antarctica, right? It looks like some kind of weird ruins behind them. But yeah, she's the classic, voice character. Yeah, the character in the comp character. It keeps telling you. She's that character in every video game. It's like, is a monster coming on the north side of the field? Yeah, she's that girl. She's a Navi. She's a, hey, listen. She's that girl. That's what she is, yeah. I figured it out. Okay, so CGI water monster. Don't they get transformed though? So it seems kinda... Like, wouldn't he know this? Fight them? Wouldn't he be trained to fight? Yeah. That guy, of course, is super happy. He's like, yeah, fight! And she's the guy with the machine gun. Yeah. The girls, of course, usually has to. And yeah, of course, waifu Vera is the, the commander, so. Okay, so you can all summon their mecha stuff. Yeah, see, this is really like in every god of these games, you always have a voice cam girl. Same as Connection said, you always have a girl on your voice being like, summon the weapon now, I'm sending this to you. I figured out most of the coordinates. I'm sending over power-ups to you, You always have that girl like, please receive this machine gun right now, yeah. Activate your firepower. Use the electric power against the water enemy. You always have that girl, right? The annoying, basically the hand-holding, annoying AI girl keeps telling you what to do, right? And I'm just like, I know to use the electric power. Tell me the 55 times. Oh shit, man. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. Use the electric power. That's what she is. But yeah, so of course the cute girl has the machine gun. Because typically the female character are not a physical character, right? So he has to use a range weapon. And he has a kind of weird, I don't know, the Star Wars, rope attack. Or something. But why is the main character so crap for though? Hasn't he been in wars before? I mean, hasn't he been trained? Yeah, why is the main, it's kind of silly how the main character is like, whoa, is this a war? But where do you get your mecha suits from? Yeah, he's kind of like, what, but you have powers? I only have my gun or something, yeah, like, did anyone tell him to bring his weapons? Something like, it's a little weird how he's so useless. Like, why hasn't he brought his own weaponry, or, I mean, of course he has a gun with him, but like, he has no powers or whatever? Yeah, well, obviously Senpai he can solo it anyway. Senpai just kills it. But the main character seems awfully useless. He's so confused. He's like, oh, this is like a war here? I thought this was like a, some kind of fun time down here. Yeah, just don't die, man. He doesn't really expect much from him. I like how Senpai basically doesn't die. He has like zero expectations from the main character. It's like, you just don't die, okay? Just don't stand in the way from my sword attack. Oh, she's like okay, so she of course is the cute waifu with a mecha leg. Yeah, I guess it's, Yeah. Of course. Death is a weirdo. His brain is damaged. Oh yeah, okay. So that's why he's a pleasure from One Piece. That's why he's so weirdo. That's why he always keeps smiling. He's actually a One Piece character. He's literally like he's literally one of those characters from One Piece that can only feel happiness all the time or whatever, right? That's why he's just a weirdo. I get it. Yeah, he's a Kaido guy. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense now. But this guy seems really lost though. He's like, oh, I just wanna be a hero. I thought it was like a fun time down here. Yeah, I wanna be a hero. Yeah, you serious? Yeah, he's. I'm waiting for the chance to be a hero. He really is the milquetoast boring main character, honestly. He's really uninteresting. The main character seems incredibly uninteresting, honestly. Like, everyone else is like, oh, this girl's like a cyborg with a cool leg strike, and she has some kind of badass machine gun. This guy has like no pain or empathy or whatever. He's like dead inside. He's like a mecha guy, I'm like a badass force guy. And then the main character's like, oh, I just wanna be a hero. I just wanna be like, saving people's lives or something. Yeah, he has no backstory, he has like no powers, he's just the guy. He seems really uninteresting. Holy shit, honestly. The main character seems to be the least interesting character in all anime. Holy shit. I mean, he seems really boring. Compared to everyone else has like some, freaky power or backstory. He's like, I'm here, I guess. And here I am, fighting for stuff. And also, I mean, the Vera, the commander, looks hot too, right? So, I'm just saying, wouldn't you rather have this cute girl in pink outfit being the main character? With no personality? It would be kind of boring cute girl, but wouldn't that be interesting? Or wouldn't you rather have Vera, the waifu, with, as the main character? Of course, like a Vera commander character would usually be the main character. But I mean, would you rather have like a hot wife with huge oppais as the main character, having no personality? Or do you have it bland, like, here I am, I'm a bland guy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they picked the most boring main guy to be the main character. Just kill it. Yeah. Follow orders, boy. Kill it, man. You wanna survive? You gotta kill it. it's kind of strange that they have this flying, assisted mecha thing, right? But the other team didn't have that. They didn't have their own little, MiGs or whatever. Yeah, they didn't have that. Like a Phantasy Star or whatever. Yeah, they lack their own little mecha things you can, of course, upgrade in the game, right? Yeah, they don't have that. Okay, maybe it's a sad backstory. Oh, I don't know. Time to open my actual Genkai! I'm gonna do a limit break. Oh, here he gets his own mecha stuff. His own MiGs. Here he come. I guess he always had that with him or something. I'm not sure, but I don't know where his confidence comes from. I have no idea where his confidence comes from suddenly. It's like, I will handle it, boss! Yeah. Kakui! Yeah, you're suddenly super brave. Yeah, I guess the main cat also is a gun, right? And most of them are using range weaponry. So only Senpai really has to be a melee guy. It's kind of a weird battle music, to be honest, but it's like, I don't hate it. I mean, it's kind of weird. It should probably be more upbeat, I feel. Okay, actually, I like how Senpai didn't care about it. Yeah, he's like, I will handle it. Okay, sure, and he fights it anyway. I like how Senpai didn't care about it. He was like, he killed it anyway. He didn't even, yeah, he didn't care at all. He was like, yeah, okay, I trust you, boy. They didn't trust him at all. That I like. Yeah, he was like, you're gonna die if I don't step in, right? So, okay, that makes sense. He was like, you're too weak to handle this thing. That's a good Senpai. He's like, I don't trust you for a second. He didn't trust you for a second. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Teamwork or something, I guess? No, okay, it's like, except then that people will die. Yeah. So Senpai is like, whatever, you're gonna be afraid and that's fine, right? I do really love that he didn't care whatsoever. He was like, yeah, you handle it by yourself. It's gonna be great. Then he just, yeah, completely ignored it, of course, to handle it. Classic Senpai. Well, this is definitely a video game, that's for sure. Yeah, I have a heart. Okay, that was like an anime reference. Voice acting favorite. Yeah. So of course you're gonna play. I mean, I haven't played the game, but it feels very obvious that in this game, it feels very obvious in this game that you clearly play as these different platoons, right? Sit there with your new mouse. I don't know. But as I said here again, this mouse is the lightest mouse I ever had, right? So I always liked mouses, except for the mouse I have here, you can actually adjust the weight of it, right? You can actually adjust the weight, so you can adjust the different, you have different metal weights here on it. So of course I play it at the lowest, right? It's like about 80 or 90 grams, about now. We have it at that. That's the 5, I believe. So this one is like, yeah, 56 I think now. Just under 60, right? So you won't find like a easier mouse in the weight ones. So that's why, yeah, obviously we're gonna get flashy though, because you can see right through it though. So that's the drawback though. And it's almost hollow, right? So you see the stuff inside of it. That, yeah, the lid, so you almost can't turn it down. But maybe I can open it up, I guess, and turn off the LCD as opposed, right? You can just turn it off. Like I leave this, I have my game keyboard here, right? This keyboard here can also be very flashy, but I just turn it off, right? I just software turn it off. But anyway, this is gonna be a game review now. That's why I mentioned my cool mouse there. Let's talk about video games, guys. It's actually a video game channel now, but let's forget about anime. Let's go to video games. But seriously though, I'm always trying to be sarcastic here in a bad way, but this was very video game. Let's be honest, it was not a very good episode of an anime. This was very, very gamey. This is exactly what I'm afraid of, honestly, right? This was very, very video gamey. I mean, I laughed at it earlier, but let's break it down, right? But it's obviously absurdly video game. So let's look at this in here. It's gonna show the stats, right? So this is, of course, super video gamey. let's look at his health point. Oh, this guy is like 75 attack power, whatever. So the game I'm currently playing, right, kind of on the side. I play a few different games, but the game I'm currently playing is actually Yakuza, Like a Dragon, because I didn't play it last year. I think I'm playing it, but I was a little afraid, and I had just played like Persona 5 Royale, so I not used exactly before, but I had played a lot of JRPGs because I'm a huge JRPG fan. It's my favorite genre, right? So I had played, FF7 Remake, Persona 5, Tales of Mana, and so on, and also I guess 30 Sentinel, I believe, was used before Enter the Dragon was out. So I mean, Like a Dragon, Enter the Dragon, the Bruce Lee movie, yeah, Like a Dragon. So I kind of skipped out on it last year, and then I bought it last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago now. So I've been playing it about 30 hours now. I played it. I mean, it's really good. Okay, it's really good. Seriously, it's really good. I love it. Honestly, it's one of my best games I played. I feel this. It was later than last year, right? But it's fantastic. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good, right? Freaking, here it is. Yeah, Enter the Dragon. It's Ichiban, the hero. He loves, of course, Dragon Quest, which is really fun. I also love Dragon Quest, right? But that's the game I'm playing right now. It's obviously very typical JRPG now. And that's the first Yakuza game. That's a JRPG game. And it's really silly in a lot of ways, because it's like you can spit like acid on them, and you have like the idol girl fighting stance, and girl, like you have idol job. So you pick different jobs, right, like in Dragon Quest, like the older games, Dragon Quest, like the 7 or whatever, right? And one of them is like idol girl. The other one is like, I guess, like prostitute or something. Yeah, and it's weird. So like you have the female characters, right, and they can play idol girls, like an idol job, yeah, and you can be like a barmaid or a hostess or whatever. I think they're both barmaid and hostess, and like secretary or clerk, whatever it's called. And then you have like like BDSM bar. But yeah, it's like crazy. So the game is wacky, okay? The game is wacky. So the idol girl, she can heal people by singing. She can be like, I can sing and heal them and so on. So it's cute. And Pokemon has 2, right, for that matter. Pokemon, if you could have the mermaid Pokemon, so you figure out what I mean here. But it is a mermaid Pokemon basically, right? And that, which I started with, it's started Pokemon. I'm still to figure out it. And that Pokemon then can sing and heal itself, right? Because mermaids can sing, right? Have singing powers. That's the singing Pokemon. So people can know what Pokemon is here. But yeah, it has both singing attacks and healing attacks by singing, right? Typically. So whatever. My point here is that this really feels like I'm watching like a commercial for a game, like, Because my point is that this anime here really feels like I'm watching a commercial for any kind of JRPG, right? Because they have the stats, they have the jobs, right? They have the platoon. It feels like I'm watching a commercial. Let's be honest here. First of all, it has the stats thing, which typically, like as I mentioned then before, like okay, so you're gonna play as Ichiban in Like a Dragon. He's pretty high attack power. He's mostly a damage guy. Then you have his friend. He's like a tank, right? So he has more health points. Then you have the next person is like healer, and the next person is like, I guess, like an all-round character, slightly healer, supportive, kind of mixture of support, and then the fifth character for me had DPS, but I guess the person is like a mixture of DPS and support also, I guess. But whatever, if I'm point right, I don't want to spoil the game because the secrets here and so on, but that's really what this thing is, right? You can like, here's the platoon of this girl, she's kind of the high accuracy, damage, close, whatever, right? Oh, this guy's the, melee guy with like the DPS, they can heal and so on. So it is incredibly gamey, and the whole anime is just presenting the platoon, right? And, you're showing that here's the commander woman, and then she has her own team, and we're gonna follow, of course, the main character team. But if you play the game, certainly you probably pick what commander you play, right? So if you actually buy this game or play the game, whatever, I mean, the gacha, right? This woman is, of course, another commander, and she has her own, five characters in her group, right? So it's like, this is obviously how you pick your party, right? By picking the commander, then you have the specific party members you're actually playing as, right? And of course, when you're playing the game, you're actually as Vera, right? You are controlling Vera, right? Giving orders to the men, right? That's how the game, of course, is seen, right? You are the commander controlling your party members, right? Then you have the Navi character. So it is incredibly similar. Where I think I have it here. I have too many games now on my table. I'm surrounded by games, right? No, I have incredibly many games. I own thousands of games, right? It is extremely similar to Scarlet Nexus. I mentioned the game before, right? But here's Hushan, right? This is the character Hushan is voicing, right? Yeah, that girl there, that's the character that Yuhuria, for example, is voice actor, right? And she's like a 16-year-old girl, but actually like 160, yeah. But you know, she's that girl, you know. Oh yeah, let's go and kill people and so on, right? And then there are other girls too in this game that are, you know, literally doing this, like, hey, go to the left tunnel, it's gonna be a monster over there, use electric power, right? So it really, oh my god, this anime is like a video game, right? Because they have that cute girl in that pink outfit that's like, oh, I can, on my scanner, it's a water monster coming, use your electric power up, you know, pick up the electric gun I'm sending to you now, you know. It really is like, oh my god, this is such a game. Yeah, it's not an anime, it is really a commercial for a video game, right? Like everything they're saying is like, oh yeah, this is this character, he has the gun power, oh, this guy can summon swords, right? Oh, this guy can like build their Mega things and he can summon them and so on. So that's really boring, I feel, because I don't really feel I care about any character whatsoever after here. They're just like showcasing them very, very shallow, very, very shallowly showing you the different characters, right? And you have to play the game to actually care about them or whatever. Or maybe you don't care either, but it's clearly it's like just showing the different characters, right? Another issue with the anime though is how incredibly plot it is, and this I really dislike though in any anime, honestly. Quite negative here, but it's very true though that these characters though are supposed to be like the main character, right? First of all, they have no face. Yeah, they're just like, you know, they're supposed to be the same rank as the main character, but the main character has their own personality, right? And they have their own outfits and so on. But these guys are just like black, you know, it's like covered in some kind of, yeah, we can't even see their eyes or whatever. They'll have like no personality. They're just like, you know, they're extras, right? Yeah. So that's really silly too. How that feels so gamey. Here's the main character party. They all have personalities. Then this other platoon, they're the same rank. They have no personality. They're blank slates. Yeah, they're nothing. They're just like, you know, they're just like cardboard. So that's really silly. And also that, why does the main character party, they all have their own little mecha things, right? Summoning, and then these guys don't have that. Yeah, these are the same rank, and they get killed by this monster, right? And they don't have any, you know, summoning mechas or whatever, summoning robots. They don't have that. They don't have like the bonus stuff. Yeah, they're just like loners. They don't have their power up. So that really breaks the immersion for me. It really breaks the immersion. I mean, it's obviously incredibly gamey in every style of the art, but that thing is really breaks the immersion. And I mean, why couldn't they also have their own, you know, suits or whatever? Why can't they also have their own mechas or their own power ups, so on? They can still die. It doesn't really matter, like, if they have it or not. I'm just saying that you, as the viewer, you understand so well that they aren't real characters. Like, they're just there. But, you know, look at this guy behind him. Why is he wearing this random black outfit and doesn't have the, you know, the summoning mechas or whatever? He's just like a guy. Yeah, he's like a soldier, right? But the issue is that these guys weren't said to be a normal soldier. It's one thing if you play like a video game, and you were part of the elite squad, right? Oh, you were the psychic power girl. Okay, you have the power to control fire there, right? I'm the pyrokinetic girl, right? So you're part of the special super squad. But this guy isn't. This is part of the squad, right? And they're also part of the same squad. They're not a squad, but the same kind of army. So, yeah, these guys are not supposed to be the elite super army that these guys aren't part of. They're supposed to be part of the same kind of rank, right? So it completely breaks the storyline that these guys don't have the same powers or whatever, or, you know, equal firepower. That is really weird. Yeah, honestly, I really dislike the main character. I felt they picked the most boring, most bland. I'm obviously gonna watch the next episode of the anime. Immediately, I feel really disinterested because they really picked the most boring, bland main character to do. Maybe there's some game fans out there tell me I'm wrong. Maybe the character is much more interesting. But I feel that this game probably has, you know, I'm guessing that this. I haven't played the game. I'm just guessing. So if you play the game, you know, please, you know, comment now or wherever, or comment below. and explain. But I think the game, right, works like this. You have the commanders, you have Vera, and you have the other commander, and you pick your commander. Picking your commander, you pick your party, right? So for example, if you play Fire Emblem, you pick either Edelgard, or you pick Edelgard, or you pick Edelgard. Yeah. So I'm joking, but of course, if you play Fire Emblem, you have the 3 houses, right? I'm talking the latest Fire Emblem. And if you pick Edelgard, you get her party, right? You get like Edelgard or herself, of course, and you also get, like the Dorietta and so you get those characters, right, in her house. If you pick the other 2 houses, right, you get the characters. They can recruit other characters, so on, whatever. That's probably more advanced than this game is. That they have a lot of characters in that house. But I mean, generally, this game is probably the same, right? You have like these different commander girls or some men too, right? But with Vera, you pick Vera, then you get her partner. So you get her 4, 5, whatever number of characters, right? With this guy Kai here, Sigurd Daniel Kai, he's part of that party, right? You also get, the girl with 1 leg and the guy with no power, no emotion, whatever, yeah. With no pain and so on. You get these parties, right? And if you pick the other party, you get those members, right? That seems to be pretty clear to me. And so, as a video gamer, when you play this game, this guy seems to be really boring and bland, at bonus stage. He might be in the game, maybe has a really deep lore, whatever. He seems really boring here, right? And in a video game, that is probably way more fine, because if I play the game, I can pick to play Vera, the waifu commander, or I can pick to play the other waifu commander, right? As a video game, there is no need for me to play this bland tabula rasa character. There's no need for me to play him. I can play, I can play this commander, right? I can play the tough, badass, kind of tough love commander, right? I can play him, right? The evil guy. He looks pretty evil. I can play him instead. And he probably has his own, 4 or 5 characters on the team, right? Probably some other waifu and some other guys, right? He has another team. He's the Edelgard, right, or whatever. Yeah, he has this evil guy. He has the Hubert or whatever, right? I can play him instead. I can play the smarter guy. I can play, I don't remember his name now, but there's one guy that looks like he's a smarty guy, He's a smarty commander. Where was he? Here he is. This is the intelligent commander, right? He's the thinking commander, right? The glasses guy, yeah. I can play him. He's gonna have his, 4 or 5 guys, right? 1, 2 waifus, some hot guy, some muscular guy. Give a point. He's gonna have his own team, right? So there's one guy that is very, very bland and boring and very like no personality. That he exists about all of these characters. That's fine, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, the main character, he's the Ryu, right? He's the Ryu, he's the Ryo, whatever you call him. Ryo! He's that guy, he's the Ryu, right? He's the main character, he's the Mario, right? He's that guy, right? And then, you have the Ken, which is basically the same thing, right? But you also have, in Street Fighter, of course, you have the Zangief, right? You have the big guy, you have Chun-Li, the cute waifu, right? You have the Kami, the ass waifu, right, and so on. You have the even better waifus. You have the Makoto, the tomboy waifu, right? You have the best waifu, Poison, right? Get my point. You have this bunch of other characters you pick, right? And, very few people, I would say, favors Ken or whatever, the Shotakons, the basic guys, right? I mean, sure, should people play him, but I mean, very few people like the design. I think that's the most, right? Most people have like, they like Poison, right? Or they like Fang or whatever. They might not play them, but my point is that usually in that kind of game, you have like 40 characters, and obviously people usually have, their waifu is like Kami or something, or Poison or whatever, right? It doesn't really, they have the main, the main character is rarely actually someone's favorite. Because the reason the main character, so to speak, is the main character in like a 40 character game is because there is the most all-round character, right? Usually the main character is the character is somewhat easy to play, it's very honest, right? Like example, Street Fighter, the main character is obviously like Ryuken or whatever, yeah. And they're very honest. They don't have like tricks, they don't have weird mechanics, right? They don't have this like confusing, I can throw fireballs and hide them away, I can eat my own attacks. They don't have this weird stuff, right? Because they're kind of the basic character, right? Doesn't mean they're easy, or doesn't mean that they're actually the best character, right? But it means they kind of have the honest mechanics. If anything, they have honest mechanics. Where a character like, for example, Cody, he can throw sand in your face. You can do a feint attack. You can trick summoning and so on. Yeah, he's a dishonest character. He's like a straight up dishonest person, right? He's a dishonest, similar character really to Ryu. He has the same explosive mechanics, very similar character, but he's a dishonest version, right, of the main character, for example. And why am I saying this? Well, because I'm basically reviewing a game, right? Because again, the main character here, he's the honest, bland character, right? He's the guy that has the most basic looking character, the most all-round stats, and doesn't have. This guy is the brainiac, right? So he doesn't. He has all the personality. This guy has high intellect, low strength, right? Low health. He's very smart, right? Yeah, his party is probably more smarty guys, right? He has smarty guys, right, in his party. So, from a game mechanic standpoint, again, it's fine if the main character is bland, because yeah, a lot of people are gonna play this main character because he's the all-round, he's the all-round bland milquetoast main character, right? So it makes sense that he's the main character to speak from a gaming standpoint. Again, looks like Street Fighter. It makes sense that Ryu and Ken and so on is the most focused character because they're very, very basic. And I'm not saying again if you main Ken, you can still be like the best player in the world, right? But from a mechanical standpoint, they're very basic. You punch them, you do Hadoukens, you run with Ken, you kick them in the face, and you do Shuriken right there. It's very, very basic. But if you play like, for example, let's say a complicated character in Street Fighter that's much more complicated, it's weird to play. But I say like something like let's say Poison then. Poison Death is weird. Multiple attacks is kind of strange. You can kind of burn the ground with her. Same with Dalsim, you can kind of burn the ground. That's called like a danger zone mechanic. That immediately is like a weird thing to have, right? So to speak, compared to Ken. Because Ken and so on, they have used the fireball, right? The punch and the kick strike. But if you can throw like a fireball, it turns into like a fire thing on the ground. So Dalsim, the same thing, he breathes fire and it creates like a fire on the ground. That creates like a weirder mechanic because now the player has to be thinking, okay, I want to push you into my fire, okay, and I want to avoid your fire. That creates like a new mechanic, like a newer dimension. Dormammu is the same thing in Tekken. That creates like a new dimension, right? Where if you both players can, you never have to think about the fire trap dimension, right? That kind of thing, right? And if you play something like think a weird character. No, okay, Colleen. Okay, so Colleen can counter you. Okay, so Colleen has a counter. Karin used to have a counter. They removed that. I really wish they kept that because I love playing Karin, but they removed the counter. But she has the kind of fainting. She can go into you and take her back, right? For example, it's kind of like a counterish behavior. And she does have a counter though if you play with her virtual team. But in the first 5 she has a counter. For example, they have a counter character like Colleen, just a very good counter, right? And then you have a counter character. Suddenly it's like, shit, if I attack you and you counter me, then I can't attack you. You counter me right there. That creates a much more, in your head, right? The yomi of having one character counter makes a lot of difference, right? If both people can counter you, if you both play counter characters, yeah, there's much more, think about, right? But it doesn't mean it's easy to fight the Ken, though, because Ken is very, very aggressive, right? Ken is running in your face all the time, it's very, very aggressive. But he's an honest character, so that's why I like the term honest and dishonest, right? Because again, Ken, yeah, he's very aggressive, he's very hard, it's very like mix-ups. Is he gonna go behind me? Is he gonna jump? Is he gonna go up? It's still very, very mind gamey because it's very, very aggressive. But everything he does is honest, though, right? So it's you know what he can do, and you have to pick the right decision, right? But if you fight like Colleen, it's like, well, she can attack you, and maybe she's gonna faint. She can go like ice into backward, or maybe she's gonna like use a counter ability. So you attack, so she tricks you, and you attack into that. Maybe she does the weird ice thing falling in your face behind you, and you push into the ice thing, and she goes to freeze the ground behind you. You get my point. It's very different, right? It's a different kind of, game, right? So anyway, coming to this game, I haven't even played the game, right? But I'm bet you that I'm right here. This guy he's an honest character. He has no interest in mechanics. He's the guy that is like a Ryu Ken. He's the guy that has the Hadouken. He's pretty good all around, he's pretty fast, he's pretty strong, he has an all-round stat, right? This guy doesn't have control mechanics, not good ones, he probably can't teleport, right? He's that character, he doesn't have teleport. He doesn't have, back traveling mechanics. He probably can play traps, right? But the intelligent guy, the guy with the glasses, he can probably play traps. His team probably has traps. Get my point? This guy is the bland character, right? So, from a gaming aspect, this main character makes sense. Because if you're a new player, you probably play this guy, right? Because he's going to have a mixture of projectiles and close combat. He can probably do, maybe a trap. But he has like, he's a kind of, all-rounder. So he might have a trap. He might have a shield. You know what I mean? He has like a mixture, right? But if you play as the smarty panther guy, he's going to have like a trap master character who can play, 10 traps and do this thing and so on, right? And that is like a very hard character to start with. So he won't be the focused character in the game, right? Because he's supposed to be there so that the gamer that wants to play the trap character, and I mean trap as in traps now. I want to play the trap character, but I'm talking about actual, literal traps, right? Yeah. So, for example, if you play like a fighting game, I don't know why I'm fighting games now, but if you play, let's say you play Magic then. If you play the blue Magic, you play Counter Special, that's a trap. This is an actual trap deck in Magic, but whatever, right? If you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you have the trap card deck, yeah. You have the Jinso deck, for example, right? Or actually, maybe even better, you have the Fairy Angel deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is focused on counter traps, which I used to compete with. Yeah, I used to play, they call angels in Japanese Tenshi, but in English they call it fairies. So in English they call it fairies, but in Japanese in Yu-Gi-Oh, they're actually called Tenshi, to angels. But they changed that because there was like less religious something. So that's why they're called fairies in English. But anyway, for example, in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have the fairy deck. It's very, very focused on traps then. I used to compete with this dark chaos fairy deck where you had a lot of traps, and if you activated certain traps, you could activate this fairies, right? And then you can summon this dragon if you activated enough traps, something at any time. Basically, it was a very, very powerful deck, and I used to play it especially in 2v2 competitively with a friend. So we both played like fairy trap decks. If you could, if I countered, you could counter, and then we could summon these dragons. We activated 5 trap cards. Then I can summon my chaos dragon from my deck. That kind of thing, right? And because we both played counter fairy decks, we could very easily, of course, then trigger this super summoning. Here's like a 10,000 dragon from our deck, you dead, basically. And the dragon was like immune to everything and so on. And I think the dragon, the different kind of trap dragons, the Engel dragons, but they're basically like, oh, this dragon is immune to everything, or it's not immune, but if it's on the field, and you try to kill it, I can activate a trap card, and then it doesn't die, or something like that, right? Or it's like every time I activate a trap card, I also get life points, and you die, or so on. So it was like super imba, but it was really broken, honestly. They kind of nerfed it heavily afterwards. It's like tennis ball. But anyway, my point here is that you can play a trap deck, right, in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or you can play like a control deck then in Magic, right? Blue cards usually. Or you can play something like Priest, I guess, in Hearthstone. Give my point, right? I worked on both Hearthstone, Elements, whatever. Don't get that too much. But of course, you can like use trap cards, right? And so a video game, you need to have that, because otherwise the game gets boring if no one can play the heavy trap deck, right? So to speak, in a card game. Or if you play like Street Fighter or something like Guilty Gear, which I'm playing, I love Guilty Gear right there. You want to have someone that can play the traps, like Testament is like my favorite trap guy, speaking in... There's an actual... Yeah, he's my favorite trap, even though you have... No, but Testament, he actually has traps. He can place this blood net that you can't see on the screen. So he has literal traps. He can... Does like an animation, he puts a blood net. And then you have Venom, he plays a pool. He plays a boss on the field. And then you also have, like my main currently, right, in the newest skill is extra low. He has a counter ability. At least in old games, they removed that, I guess. But he used to have counters, which they removed unfortunately. But he still has the range throw that comes in your back. So he can summon a thing behind you and capture you from the back, which like capture the enemies. And so that's a good example. Extra low, he's a very weird character in Guilty Gear. In Assassin, he's kind of Dalsim with long range. But then he has, a ranged projectile throw coming in your back. So if you're standing far from him, hits you immediately. You almost can't avoid it if you stand on a max swing. You can jump, but that's the only thing you can do if you time it correctly, or if you land on it. If you're next to him, it's useless. then it's like an enormously long cast time. However, though, sometimes when you kind of block string them, it's actually pretty good, even if they're close to you, because it's so random. You kind of throw it at them randomly, and they have to jump them or punch you, right, while it's traveling in their back. And a lot of people kind of freeze, even because I'm playing Guilty Gear, on the highest rank 10 out of 10. So in Guilty Gear you have floors up to the floor 10. So I'm not the highest. I'm in the highest floor. So I'm playing as the pro players, whatever. And even at that level, some people get really they get kind of confused, right? What you're doing, you trick them, and then they kind of in their back. If they get basically, if I see that you are afraid of what I'm doing, right? You started to get afraid of me. You started to respect me too much. I would say it. You're talking about respect in fighting games, and if my opponent is respecting me too much, then I will do this throw even in close combat because they're basically afraid of me, right? And then I will control them. So anyway, my point, of course, is that in a kind of games, right, you have these weird characters and they work around and so on, and usually you have to have this bland main character, of course, to be the main character, right? Because that's a character that the new player can play and enjoy and so on. But for example, if you buy Guilty Gear today, I would never recommend you to play Axel. I mean, I love Axel. He's my main. He's my guy. He's my main, right? Yeah, I look like Axel. Yeah, and I always love playing Axel. But I would never recommend anyone to play Axel because he's such a weird, controlled character, right? I would recommend you to play something maybe like a little bit Soul Bad Guy. He's kind of like the Ryu of the game, right? It's more like Ken though. But I would say Soul Bad Guy, Kikiske, so to be kind of the main he has all around, I guess, in that game. I think that Giovanna, the new girl, which is like a hot waifu girl with the cool kicks, she's very basic, honestly. She's very aggressive, but it's very, very basic. So I think, yeah, I'm insulting people. No, but honestly, I think Giovanna is a great character for new player because she's she's very honest. So, yeah, very honest, very straightforward. Those three characters probably, like Bad Guy, Kikiska, Giovanna, maybe someone else. Maybe like honestly, maybe May, Mr. Dolphin. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. May is super good, but I think it's hard to play. I think as a Bad Guy, but she's more OP of anything. But like those characters are kind of honest, right? You don't want to play a character like I'm trying to learn to play. What's her name? With the meme girl. Oh my god. Yakko. She can summon his robots and play like traps. Yeah, don't play Yakko, man. I can better play Yakko. She can summon robots and control them, but she fights. It's super complicated, right? So that's the character you wanna play as a new, a new person can't play Yakko because it's absurdly complicated. Like doesn't play Yakko, yeah. So you need to have this basic, boring main character, right? And that's a video game, right? But as an anime, because I'm doing a very long video here, but my point, of course, is as an anime, that is completely failure. You can't have that really boring main character as an anime character, because this character has no personality. He's just like, I'm here to learn how to fight, but yeah. He has no personality, he has no interesting abilities, because he's supposed to be that bland, tabula rasa main video game character. And that is so boring as an anime that I have absolutely zero interest in this main character. And my long speech here, of course, about all the video games is because it's all based on him being that, Mario Kart main all-around character, right? For example, if you play Mario Kart, right? Again, Mario Kart, Mario, Luigi, they're very basic, right? They're very all-round. If you play like Bowser is, slow and big, right? If you play something like Toad, it's faster, quicker, weaker, yeah. That's the very basic difference, right? If you play different characters in Mario Kart, they're different stats, right? This is the guy that's all round. He's a boring all round main character. And it's just like it's a game, yeah, it's a game, and you pick the least interesting character in the game probably to have as your main character. And it makes sense from a gaming aspect because then you have to promote the very basic character to play, right? But from an anime aspect, he's really uninteresting because again, then he's supposed to be the character that everyone can play and no one's gonna love. And I'm telling you guys, it's kind of the same thing, we're looking like Street Fighter, right? But I have almost never met anyone that likes to actually main, Ryu and Ken, right? Because they're all the basic characters. Everyone kind of wants to main the weird guys, not everyone, but almost everyone wants to be able to play like Fang or, Poison or some of the more interesting characters, right? Yeah, some of the more unique characters. And then, sure, on the pro level, you're gonna see a Ken or whatever, right? like Big Bro or whatever. He's a really good Ken player, right? Like Ken's a good character, so you're gonna see Ken anyway because it's very honest, right? But almost everyone, I feel I know that actually play the game a lot. They want to kind of be good at this one of the weird characters, right? That are on the side, right? Yeah, like the new Bakugo or whatever. You wanna or the cop girl, Lucia, yeah. So almost you want to be able to play those characters, right? Personally, I mostly play, of course, Poison because hottest waifu, and I play Ed and Cody, right? Because I usually play Ed, Cody. I mean a lot, so I play Ed a lot as well before I had Cody, and then I used to compete with Guile, right? So that's kind of what I mean. When I play seriously, and if I go to a tournament, I usually pick Ed anyway because I play Ed so much, but kind of when I go to a tournament and I'm kind of like I just want to play very very safe, right? And I'm a Rust, so I want to play safe. Then I pick Guile up, because this is my guy, Guile is very basic, right? He's a classic control character, speedy, with sonic booms. But it's very, very honest, right? Again, Guile is the honest control character, right? Speed control, yeah. So I pick Guile, right? That's kind of my go-to. Like, if I'm tired, I'm like, I need to play on muscle memory, Then I pick Guile, right? Probably. Because I used to compete in Guile in the fourth installment for like 10 years, right? Yeah. So Guile and also in most technical. So that's kind of what I mean. When I'm tired, I just pick Guile. Yeah. I don't pick Poison or whatever. I pick Guile, right? Because I know how to play Guile in my sleep, right? Yeah. Like I can always just play Sonic Boom. I can flash kick. Yeah. I can do that for 24 hours straight, right? So that's kind of how it is, right? And that's why I used to a side note here. But if you play like a fighting game and you look at tournament, you still see these guys. Guy's a great character. He's a very good character. But that's kind of like you see Guile and people in this pro like Daigo, whatever, they play Guile because he's like a very reliable character. And in one way, you do want to play on a top level in the game. You kind of want to play the honest character like this guy here because they're very simple, they're very straightforward, right? And if you play the weird characters, like for example, then someone like like a research user character, yeah, it has like posts or whatever, yeah, or let's say another rather random example. Victor Fighter, you have Shun-Di. He's a drunk kung fu guy. So you drink bottled sake and you get stronger by his sake level. Like that is super weird, And he's a sake zero. And he drinks sake and sure, it's kind of like how to get your sake up is obviously like okay, you start to zero up to 40, and it's clearly like how it works is pretty clear for you. And if you lay down, you get 3 instead of 1 and so on. But it's like that thing makes it. It's not random per se, but like his combo for them, right, does more damage if you're drunker. So obviously it's like, I have to drink sake, but then this guy does this ability, I can't drink sake. Immediately that your combo damage is like this, right, depending on who you're facing, right, yeah. And sure, you can play it for 1,000 hours and get consistency, but it's a bigger point. Depending on what happens during the match, you can't control your damage. But if you play something like Kagemaru, your damage is exactly the same, right? You know exactly what you can do. The guy doesn't even have super abilities. Yeah. If anything, with the fighter, good example of that. With the fighter, like with the fighter 4, you don't even have any supers. You only have your combos. You don't have any supers. There's no special meters, so you can only do your damage that you can do, right? But if you play a drunk guy, he has like his own drunk power up, so he has the reasons, right? But the other characters, then, you know exactly what damage you're gonna do, right? And if you play competitively, I used to play with the fighter competitive, and if you play in a tournament, if I play Kagemaru, I know exactly that this throw does 55 damage, right? I know exactly you're gonna damage throw right there. But if I play the drunk guy, sure, I still know the truth that this ability will do like 40 damage. I know the truth, but it's like if I throw you with 12 sake on me, it will do 70 damage. And if I have only like 8 sake, it's gonna do like 50 damage. If I have no sake, it's gonna do like 40 damage, right? Like I know that for a fact, I guess, but still it's like depending on the situation, that's gonna affect what I can do, right? So that's very, very tricky and makes it harder, right? So you wanna play the game in a tournament. That's kind of what I mean. Some people do. I have done it too, right? But it's like, you know what I mean. So it's kind of like, and this kind of character here in this anime is a Santina. He might actually be a popular character in the game because he's straightforward, right? He's honest. He might be the character that you pick to play if you play the game seriously, right? Because you know what you get. You know what you get, it's consistent, right? But it's an anime, it's boring as hell. I feel so I'm not. I want to watch the least interesting character in the game. You know, I wanna watch the Utogurukyo. I wanna watch the waifu. You know, I wanna like watch the Shibu waifu or something. I much rather follow those characters, right? That's kind of, I'm thinking about, you know, this Chimera Squad Nexus. This has an anime too. That's still ongoing. This is an anime. This game though, even though the main character is pretty bland, he's unfortunately the anime focus. But you can play either as a waifu, right, or as a bland main character in this game. You pick one of them, and I of course picked to play the waifu, right? I picked to play the waifu. She's actually a pretty interesting character. So I think that game, this anime or this game, makes it a lot better because you have this very similar to this guy, right? This guy, you know, Yuto. This guy, he's basically this guy, but yeah, very basic, you know, oh, I'm the hero, you know, very, a little bit of the game, yeah, very basic, right? But you can also get, of course, place that Kasane, right, the girl on the other side, and she's like a much more of an interesting, little weird, well, she's basically like I guess like a some kind of psychopathic murderer. She's honestly very weird. Honestly, she's like has no emotions. I just want to kill people. Same sister. Yeah, she's very in that way. She's kind of boring. But she's a kind of a silent killer waifu that's like super interested in murdering people. But you know what I mean? Like she's like at least has a personality, right? She's one of the more, you know, personality waifus. So much more interesting. Unfortunately, the anime focusing on the yeah. I mean again, the anime does the exact same issue this anime does, right? It's focusing on the boring main character. Yeah, on the all round. It's focusing on the least interesting character. It's actually this game. It's focusing on the all-round character, on the boring main character that's the least interesting personality. That game is better later on though, but still, it's focusing on the least interesting character. It's just so, it's just a weird mix. I just can't see it, you know. It's there to promote, of course, the video game, and I just can't see how it's like a good storytelling. I mean, focusing on the least interesting character, the whole party. It's bland, really bland. I guess an issue compared to I'm just playing, you know, yeah, as I mentioned, right, Yakuza, right, Enter the Dragon, and this main character, Ichiban, he's freaking fantastic, though. I love this game, honestly. It's like a 10 of 10 game for me. Been playing it for the last 2 weeks now, like 4 hours per day. It's really good. But the main character, he's really funny. Yeah, I love this main character, Ichiban. He's super funny. And he feels like a real main character, you know, he has great personality and so on. He's really enjoyable. I'm really loving this character, yeah. And if I had an anime with Enter Dragon, right, it would be really funny. For example, Persona 5, right? Persona 5 has that anime. I watched the anime after play the game. It's not fantastic because mostly it's following the game. But that is much better, yeah, because you're not focusing on the main character. You're focusing on the character. But the thing is that main character, he's a character, right? He's not like this. The gacha games, unfortunately, they have too much of like a staple, you know, too many characters. He's the bland main character, yeah. Persona 5, certainly Joker isn't the best character, in that case, the least interesting character, but it still is like, you know, you're focusing on the other character, on Anne, you know, and Queen and so on. Yeah, you're focusing on the character around him, right? So I think that anime works because even if you haven't played the game, the anime is focusing a lot on, obviously, like, you know, the waifus and so on around them, right? Yeah, so it still becomes like a watchable anime, and you have the love interest, right? You have the sensei and so on. It's focusing so much on the side characters that the main character, the Taburasa character, doesn't matter because he's not the focus anyway. So it works though. This anime though focuses only on no one really, but mostly on the really boring main character, if anything. And that's the senpai, I guess, but really weird. But anyway, yeah, I very unlikely will I watch this anime again. I rather play the game. So for a long time here, but I mean, this mostly, as I mentioned, this mostly is a game review. I'm like, let's talk about video games. Yeah, this video now is about video games. Let's talk about video games, right? This video has been, this stream turned into a video game conversation, right? Because that is what it is really. This is the, again, like this is the, here's the anime about a really boring main character. Let's talk about that, right? Yeah, like it is really a video game review, right? Because that was interesting here. Would you like to play this video game or not? That's kind of what's interesting here. Really boring anime, honestly. Yeah, really. Obviously, I talked about it earlier, but not too much about that, right? It's just like, yeah, here's a video game. Here's the characters. I mean, obviously the first 10 minutes are purely like, let's introduce the, here's the characters. Like I said earlier, before I watched the episode, I just watched, Tact OP. That's also supposed to be like a video game, right? But Tact OP has its own personality, interesting character, much better animation. Like Tact OP, that I can feel is like a really good anime without being a game. It's also a game, but it's also a really good anime. And it's an actual, story about people in the anime. It's not trying to sell me a game, it's trying to sell me a good story, right? And I might buy the game. And actually, yeah, like I'm genuinely interested in the game of Tact OP because it really is like a good anime. Like I'm actually interested, genuinely in the game, right? Let's just say it quickly here. When is that game coming out? It's also a mobile game, right? But I'm actually genuinely interested in the mobile game because the game's anime actually is really good. Like it has a really good character and so on. Like I'm actually interested in what that game is gonna be, right? But here I just feel it's like, it's another gacha game. But that being said, though, as a last note here, this game still might be great though. Honestly, I played the game. The game might have a really good gaming mechanics, right? I'm just say here, last point here, but negative. This video game itself, though, the actual in Deep Insanity, might actually be a really good video game, right? Because what this anime is showing me is just like here's the character, here's the really boring main character. So the storyline is terrible, right? It's a really boring episode. But like, doesn't tell me anything about the mechanics. So clearly, well, I guess you're gonna go down with the party. I mean, it's telling me you have a commander, you have a party of certain characters. I mean, obviously, generally it's a JRPG. It's kind of obviously what it's about. But I mean, it must still be a fantastic game. Honestly, though, this game must still be really good, right? But as an anime, they haven't really portrayed it with a good storyline. So I'm guessing though that while the game might still be really enjoyable, it probably has a boring storyline. It might have a good lore, like a good interesting build-up why it's happening, but it probably has a boring actual narration. Probably, but given the anime is really boring as one, so. But yeah, tomorrow we have fantasy animes, isekais. Yeah, tomorrow we have 2 isekais. I am looking forward to Rido Healer's new anime. That was really funny last week. I think it was a really good episode 1. And also episode 1 or 2, of this Slow Life. It might be good too, but Rido Healer was really good actually. So yeah, see you guys later. Tomorrow, subscribe, and yeah, check out my video game content, right? Because I know my video game. I know gaming more than I know anime. I definitely do, honestly. I mean, I know every kind of anime, but I know video games even better, right? I worked with a lot of video games, and if I get a video game in discussion, I go even deeper, right? So anyway, see you guys and have a great day.